changes, it is becoming harder for them to live as sea nomads. Modern society is growing, and the ocean is facing many problems like overfishing and pollution. Because of these challenges, their traditional way of life may not last much longer. Some groups are trying to save their culture by documenting their history and traditions before they disappear. Others are fighting for their rights, asking governments to protect their fishing areas and give them legal recognition. These efforts can help the Bajau keep their identity while also adapting to new challenges. Change is natural, but we must respect and support indigenous groups like the Bajau. Their skills, knowledge, and deep connection to the ocean are valuable, and if we help protect their traditions, their unique way of life can continue for future generations. The Bajau people have some of the most amazing underwater skills in the world. Their ability to dive deep and hold their breath for so long is something most of us can only dream of. But as the world changes, their way of life is slowly disappearing. Will future generations still carry on their incredible skills? Or will their traditions be lost forever? What do you think about the Bajau's superhuman diving abilities? Would you ever try deep diving like them? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories about unique people around the world. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. See you next time.